morning, students. I am NV Krishna Rao, Assistant Professor, CAC Department, handling the compiler design. So, we have seen the SLR passing method in the last class. We'll discuss some more examples under SLR passing method. So, we are considering another grammar. Whenever a grammar is given, the first step we have to add S dash Q's S. That is the first step to add the production. S dash Q's S. Then S equal to, this is a given grammar. Right? This is a given grammar. Right? S production, A production, B production. Right? Then here we need to find the follow of the variables. Right? In the construction of the SLR passing table, to specify the direction of the production in particular column, for that column we need follow of the variable. So we consider this follow of the variable. So follow S dash Q's $sign, because S dash is the starting variable. So it will be a $sign. Then follow of S equal to follow of S dash. From the production 1, follow of S equal to follow of S dash. Right? From this production. So which gives simply $sign. Right? Then follow of A. A is here. A is here. Follow of A is B. Right? Then from here, this is the first of B. The first of B is simply D. The first of B is simply D. Follow of A is B comma D. Right? How you find this follow of A? Follow of A. This is the two places where A exists in right side of the production. Follow of A is first one, this terminal. Right? This terminal. B as this. Then from this production, follow of A is first of B. What is the first of B? It is D. So follow of A, B comma D. Then follow of B. Follow of B exists here itself. So follow of B is first of A. So it is E only. Right? So we have found the follow of all the non-terminals. Right? Now we construct the canonical group. Right? Here S dash is equal to dot S. In the first closure group, we start with S dash equal to dot S. Right? Dot followed by a non-terminal. Add that non-terminal production. Dot followed by S. Right? S giving some production. Right? So we start with here S gives dot A. Dot followed by a non-terminal. The closure group is completed. Right? Dot followed by a terminal. So the group is completed. Now, what are the symbols followed by dot? There are two symbols. One is S, one is capital S, another one is A. Dot followed by two symbols, capital S and small a. So capital A, capital S and small a. They will be go-to operations. There will be a go-to operations on capital S and on small non-terminal a. Now, when you consider the dot capital S, when you consider dot followed by capital S, right? When you consider dot followed by capital S on go to operation with S will move as S dot. It become as S dot, right? Dot S on go to S will become S dot. Dot at end simply over. Then here this I naught group, I naught closure group on terminal A, on terminal A will have a another group, will go to the another group, right? I naught on small a will go to the another group I2. What happened? Dot A is becoming A dot. Dot A becoming dot A becoming A dot on go to operation A. On go to operation A. Dot A will become A dot on go to operation A. Now, what it is resulting? Dot followed by capital A. Dot followed by capital A, right? Dot followed by capital A. So, add the A productions. Add A productions. Since dot followed by capital A, then simply add that A productions. What are the A productions? We have two productions. Simply include the both productions. Dot capital ABC dot B, right? Dot capital ABC dot B. Okay. Now, once again dot followed by non-terminal A already included. So finally dot followed by non-terminal. So adding of productions to the group is over. We will continue to add production to the group till dot followed by non-terminals. If dot followed by terminal symbols, till dot followed by terminal symbols, we will continue to add productions. If dot followed by non-terminal, simply add that non-terminal productions. Is going on till dot followed by terminal symbols. Now, dot followed by B terminal symbol, simply we stop adding productions to this I2 closure group. Now, dot followed by which symbols? Dot followed by A, dot followed by B. So, there are two symbols. Are they? Dot followed by two symbols. Dot followed by two symbols. What are the two symbols? Capital A and small b. There are two symbols that are capital A, small b. Right? They are go-to operations on the non-terminal A, terminal B. Now, we consider the terminal symbol B. What happened? This dot B will become B dot. So, A gives B dot. A gives B dot. Dot B will become as B dot. So, it will A gives B dot that I found. Then, here dot followed by A capital A will become dot capital A will become A dot. Right? here A dot, here it is A dot. But what happening? It's resulting dot B. Add B production. If dot followed by non-terminal, add the non-terminal productions. If it is followed by terminal, dot followed by terminal, simply stop. Dot followed by terminal, simply stop. Dot followed by terminal, simply stop. Okay, is it clear? Dot followed by terminal, simply stop. If dot followed by non-terminal, add that non-terminal productions. What are the production? Capital B gives small d. Add that production. Now, dot followed by B, dot followed by small b, small dot followed by small d. That are the three symbols followed by dot. So, they will be three go-to operations on B, on D, on small. Right? Dot followed by three symbols. They will be a go-to operation on that particular three symbols. Capital, variable, non-terminal, and two terminal symbols. Now, if it is a capital B, then dot B become as B dot will result in this one. Dot followed by terminal symbol, simply stop. Okay. Then here dot followed by E. So it will have a go to operation on E. It will have a go to operation on E. So it will become E dot. A, capital A, B, E dot. Dot will be the end of our S production. Now here dot B. What happened? Dot B will become T dot. So this is the end of the production. B gives T dot. B gives T dot. Then B dot B dot B. Right? So since there is dot B on go to operation, it will become B dot. It will become B dot. Right? Dot B will become B dot. Is it clear? Then A gives AB dot C. Right? Now, here dot followed by a terminal symbol. Dot followed by some terminal symbol. So, it will have a transition on C. So, dot C will become as C dot. So, A gives ABC dot. Here, dot and dot and here it is a dot and here it is a dot and, right? Is it clear? Then here it is a dot and. We unable to have another go to operations and to find a new closure groups. So simply we stops because all the groups having dot at the end. If we consider the groups I9 dot end, I7 dot end, I5, I8 dot end, I4 dot end, I2 dot end, right? So there are no more go to operations and there are no more close operations. So now we have constructed a DFA for the go to operations, and here we have combined in the all the closure operations also. right? Now, the sets, this is a grammar that is given, right? This is the grammar that is given on, this is the list. I not on S going I1, on A, I2, on B, I4, on A, I3. It has 3, B, 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 D. So I5, I6, I7, on E, I8, I6 on C, I9, so I7. So this is the a DFA for go to operations. Then this is a I naught. It has two productions. This is I1 set dot end, right? Then I2. This is a it's with respect to productions, right? Then I3. It's respect to productions. I4. It's a closure groups. These are the I naught to I9. We have the closure groups, right? I4. Then I5. I6, right? Then I7, right? Then I7, I8, right? This is I8. Then I9. This I0 to I9 are the closure groups. This is a DFA for the go-to operations. First, we need to construct the closure sets and go-to operations and follow of the non-terminals. From using this, we will construct the table. Right. Now, we already know action part consists non-terminals as the column headers. Go-to will consist variables as the non-terminals. Action part, terminal symbols as the column headers. Go-to part, non-terminals as the column headers. Right? Action means terminal symbols. Go-to means non-terminals. Is it clear? Then, from this DFA of go-to operations, we will construct our SLR passing table. What is this one? A. A means terminal, right? It belongs to terminal. So, action part. So, shift S2. Shift S2. I naught goes to I2. So, we write as S2. Where we have to write? In the A column. In the A column, we are writing S2. Then, this belongs to non-terminals. So, it is a go-to operation. So, where is the go-to operation? 1. So, we write in as the 1. Is it clear? If it is a terminal, we write in the action table. Since it is a terminal, we have written as shift operation. And the next state is 2. So, we have written as 2. Then, capital S is a non-terminal. So, we write in a go-to operation. It going to a state S1. So here I1. So, we are considering is 1. So, here it is I1. So, we consider 1. Then, I2. What is I1? Here, I1 is dot end. What is a dot end? It is end of the production for the special production. For the special production. So, follow of S dash is a dollar sign. Follow of S dash is a dollar sign. So, in the place of dollar sign, we write accept. In the place of dollar sign, we write accept. Right? 1 on dollar sign, simply we write as the accept. Is it clear? Dollar sign 1 will on dollar sign, it is a accept. Okay, is it clear? I1 on dollar sign, it is a accept. Then I2. Here I2. Here it is I2. This I2 has B a terminal, A is non-terminal. So it is action part. This is go to part. In the action part, we write as this will result as 4. Here go to part, this is a 3. So it we write simply 3. Right? Right? In B, we have written as 4. In A, we have written 3. If it is a capital variable, it is 3. If it is a B, then S4. Right? If it is a terminal symbol, we write shift followed by some state. If it is a non-terminal, in the go to table, we write the 3. Okay, is it clear? Then I3. I3 has dot B, and dot D. So it has 3 go to operations. It is a non-terminal. It is a non-terminal. So simply write 5. It is a terminal. So write S6. Here it is a terminal. So simply write S7. Where we have to write? In the D, we write S7. In the D, we write S7. In B, we write S6. In B, we write S6. I3 on non-terminal, it is 5. On B, it is 5. So 5, S7, S6. Is it clear? I3, S6, S7, it is 5. Okay? Is it clear? I3 is over. Then I4. What is I4? I4 dot and. Dot and. So for this one, what is the follow of A? Follow of A is BD. Is it clear? Follow of A is BD. Follow of A is BD. So, in place of B, we written reduce the production number 4. In place of D, we have written reduce the production number 4. Since dot end of the production, the fourth production, we write reduce the fourth production, where we have to write follow of the non-terminal. The follow of the non-terminal is B and D. So in the B column we write R4. For in the D column we write R4. Right? Then I5. Then I5. What is I5? Dot and. Right? I5 on E belongs to a terminal symbol. So S. And this state 8. So we write S8. Where we have to write S8? In the column E. So in the column E, we writing S8. In the column E, we are writing as 8. Right? Then what is I6? I6 dot C. I6 dot C. On C, it's going I9. It belongs to a terminal. So as it is 9, so we write as 9. Where we have to write as 9? In terminal column C. In the go to C, we write S9. Okay. Then what is I7? I7 dot and. Which is the production number? Fifth production. Right? What is the follow up B? We have seen already follow up B is E. Right? So here in the E place, follow up B, E place, we write R5. Reduce the production number 5 in the E column. Right? Is it clear? Then A, this is the I7 is over. I8. I8 dot and what is the production number? This one. What is the follow of not S is dollar. So simply in the place of dollar we write R2. In the place of dollar we write reduce production number 2. Then I9 dot and I9 and the dot and. Right? So reduce production number 3, reduce production number 3. Right? A gives ABC dot, the production at dot and. So we considered follow of A. Follow of A already we have seen this is B and D. So in the place of B we write R3. In place of D we write R3. Right? Simply we are writing B as R3, D as R3. Is it clear? In place of B, we write R3. In place of D, simply we write R3. Now, we have constructed SLR passing table for the states I0 to I9. Using this SLR passing method, a bottom-up passing method, we have to pass the input string. Here, the stack will with initial state 0, the input string will be there, right? Then we end the input with the dollar sign. We consider 0 and A. What is the 0 and A? 0 and A is shift to A2. Shift the symbol A into the stack and the state 2 into the stack. Now 2 and B. 2 and B. What is the 2 and B? 2 comma B. What it saying? 2 and B as 4. Shift and the top of the stack will be 4. So move to B and stack is 4. 4 and B. This is small b. This is also small b. Right? 4 and B. What is 4 and B? is reduce production number 4. Reduce production number 4. Reduce the production number 4. What is the production number 4? A gives B. Right? The B is replaced with A. Then go to operation. Go to operation 2 comma A. What is go to operation 2 and A? It is 3. Right? Which is the 3. Move to stack. Move to this 3 into stack. Move, replace small b as capital A. Replace small b as a capital A. Then move the 3 into the stack. Now 3 and B. 3 and B. What we have? 3 and B. We have S6. We have S6. Right? We have shift S6. So move this B into the stack. This 6 into the stack. So it is B6. Now consider 6 and 6. What we have? 6 C is S9. 6 and C we have S9. So here move the symbol as here. Then this as a 9 to store that 9 into the stack. 6 and C we have a 9. Shift 9. So shift the symbol to the stack and store the 9 into the stack. Is it clear? Now consider 9 and B. What we have? 9 and B. 9 and B we have R3. What is R3? This one is R3. How many symbols? 3 symbols. So pop 6 symbols. What are the 6 symbols? A3, B6, C9. Pop all these 6 symbols. A3, B6, C9. Pop all the 6 symbols. Okay? A3, B6, C9. Okay? Pop all the 6 symbols. Then, what is the state we have after removing this one? After removing these symbols, we have 2, then A. What is the go-to of 2 and A? It is 3. Simply store this A, this 3 into here. So A3. Right? Move this 3 here. Shift A to the stack. 3 into the stack. Right? Right? A3. Now consider 3 comma B. What is 3 comma B? 3B is S6. It is S6. Shift and 6. Shift and 6. Shift and 6. Is it clear? Shift and 6. Now, what we have? 6 and C. 6 and C. What is 6 and C? 6, C, S9. Simply S9. Shift and also 9. Now 9 and D. What we have? 9 and D. 9 and D are 3 we have. So what is our 3? This one. How many symbols? 3 symbols. So how many symbols we have to pop? 6 symbols. What are the 6 symbols? A3, B6, C9. These 6 symbols has to pop. Then what we have? A we have. And what is the symbol? 2 and A we have. Right? 2 and A. So go to 2 and A, which is 3. Which is 3. So write this 3 here. Write this A to here. Right? 3 comma D we have. We have to consider 3 comma D. What is 3 comma D? 3D S7. 3 comma D. What it is? S7. 3 comma D is S7. Right? 3 comma D simply S7. Shift the symbol, shift 7. Then 7 and E. 7 and E. What we have 7 and E? 7 and E are 5. Reduce the production number 5. We use D, which is 1 symbol. So pop 2 symbols. What are the 2 symbols we have to pop? D and 7. So we have to consider go to off. D7 we have removed, then 3 we have. Then is the symbol is B. The 3B will giving as 5. Right? 3B gives as 5. Right? So it is 5. Now simply store this 5 here. Then this B here. Then consider 5 comma E. What is 5 comma E? 5 comma E S8. As 5 comma E as S8. 5 comma E as S8. Right? Shift 8. Move the symbol here. E and H. Right? Move the E into the stack, 8 into the stack. So here E8. Then consider 8 and dollar sign. What we have 8 and dollar sign? 8 and dollar sign is R2. What is R2? This is the production we have. How many symbols? 4 symbols. Then pop 8 symbols. What are the 8 symbols? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A2, A3, B5, E8. These are the 8 symbols. These are the 8 symbols we have to pop. Then consider go to off. What is the go to symbols we have to consider? After removing these 8 symbols, we have 0, Then we have to consider this S, which is giving 0s is 1. Right? From the table, 0 and s giving 1. Okay? Then move this 1 to here, move this s to here, s comma 1, 1 comma dollar. 1 comma dollar is resulting x. So finally, the string A, B, B, C, B, C, D, E is accepted. Here we are representing each shift and action and reducing the productions respectively, and we replacing the terminals with the non-terminals. Then according to considering the handle of the production and using the handle pruning, we are following the reverse of rightmost derivation since it is a bottom-up passing technology. So finally we are concluding the input string is accepted by our grammar. So this is the SLR passing method which accepting the right. $1 gives accept. Is it clear? This is a second example that we are discussing the construction of the processing table, and using the table we are the passing the SLR passing the input. Right. Now we are considering one more example. D gives type list semicolon. T list gives T list comma id slash id. Type gives int float. This is the given grammar. For this given grammar, we have to construct. For this given grammar, we have to construct SLR passing table. From SLR passing table, we have to construct. We have to check the given input string is accepted or not. So this is the a grammar that is given. First step, what we have to do, we add a new production D dash use T. We are adding a special production, right? We are adding a special production T dash use T. Then what is the follow of D dash? It will be dollar sign, right? So here it is dollar sign. Okay. Here follow of D is follow of D dash. So here follow of D will be dollar sign only, right? Follow of D is follow of D dash. It will be dollar sign only. Okay, is it clear? Then follow of type. Follow of type. Follow of type. First of T list. first of T list, right? Follow of type. Follow of type is first of T list. What is the first of T list? First of T list is ID. So first of T list is ID. Then follow of type is over. Then follow of T list. Follow of T list is a comma and semicolon. Right? Follow of type is ID. Follow of T list is comma and semicolon. Okay. Okay. So we adding a new production D dash use D dot. That is a new production that we are considering. Right. Then what are the production grammars that we have? D gives type T list semicolon, then T list equal to T list comma ID comma slash ID, then type equal to int slash float. That is a grammar. Then follow of D dash equal to dollar sign, then follow of D equal to follow of D dash dollar sign, right? Then follow of T list, follow of T list is comma and semicolon, follow of T list comma and semicolon, then follow of type, follow of type is first of T list is ID, right? So we are considering the follow of the all the non-terminals. Then we start constructing the our items, closure operations, then go to operations. First we start with our I0 group. In this I0 group we considering D dash use dot D, right? We start in the our first group, our first group I0 group, we consider D dash use dot D. That is the first protection. Since dot followed by a non-terminal, since dot followed by non-terminal, add the protections. What is the protection? Dot type T list semicolon. Since dot followed by a non-terminal, add the non-terminal protection DQs dot type T list semicolon. Dot type, dot followed by once again non-terminal, add the protections type queues dot int, type queues dot float. Dot followed by variable non-terminal type, add the protections int slash float. Now finally dot is followed by a non-terminal int comma float. The I0 group is completed. Here dot followed by non-terminal D, so add D protection, which resulting dot followed by non-terminal type, so add type protections, and finally it is giving as dot int dot float. Now dot is followed by non-terminals. So simply adding of productions to the group is completed. This is the final list. The property closure operation is completed. Right? Now we write go to operations on this I naught. Right? We have done the closure operation. From this closure operation, we have to apply the go to operations. What are the symbols followed by dot? Dot is followed by four symbols: capital D, type, int, float. So there will be a go to operations on D, on type, on int, on float. On D, what happened? Dot D become as D dot. This is I1. Okay. Dot D become as D dot. Now type. Dot type become as type dot. So D gives type dot list semicolon. Then dot list dot followed by non-terminal. So its productions are included. The productions, both productions we have to include. Dot list. So add list equal to dot list comma id list use dot id. Finally, dot at the end. Dot followed by id non-terminal terminal. Dot followed by terminal. So the closure operation is completed. So the closure operation is completed. List gives dot id. Right? List gives dot list comma id. So list dot list. So we have added the list productions. Dot id. So simply dot followed by terminal symbol. The adding productions to I1 group is completed. Then this is I2. Okay. Then on int dot int become int dot. So type become int dot. This is I3. Dot float become float dot. Right? Dot float become as float dot. I4. So I0, I1, I2, I3, I4. The I4 five groups are completed. Now I1 dot end, I3 dot end, I4 dot end. Okay. So there is only I2 which has dot followed by list, dot followed by id. Right? Here I2 only it has two symbols of the dot. Right? So on id will use list gives id dot. Dot id become id dot. Right? List gives id dot. Okay. Then T list. On T list, what will become? T gives type T list dot semicolon T list dot comma I. This is I5. This is I6. Right? Okay. Dot followed by semicolon. Dot followed by comma. Is it clear? Then on comma T list use T list comma dot ID. On ID T list use T list comma ID dot. So finally dot at the end. On semicolon on semicolon. What is gives? D gives type T list semicolon dot. Right? So I5, I6, I7, I8, I9. Finally, the dot is present at the end of all the productions. Dot is end of the all the productions. Okay, is it clear? I8 dot end, I9 dot end, then I6 dot end, I1 dot end, I3 and I4 dot ends. So the DFA for go to operations, including closure operations, we have drawn. Right? The drawing of the closure operations and DFA of go to operations is completed. From this one, we have to write the table. After writing the table, we consider a simple example and we pass that input string is accepted or not. The table consists of action and go to parts. Action will consider terminal symbols. What are the terminal symbols? Int, float, id, comma, semicolon, dollar sign. These are the terminal symbols. Then, what are the variables? D, type, T list are the variable list. Right? The variables are go to part and terminals are action part. Then what are the states we have? 0, the first one. 0 on D is 1. On type is this 2. On int I3. So S3. On sort I4. So S4. Right? So here I0 group is completed. I0 has 4 go to operations. What are the 4 go to operations? On the variables D. So simply we write 1. On the variable type is going to I2. We simply write 2. On int it is going I3. So on int it is going I3. So type gives int dot. So we write S3 on terminal int. On terminal int it is going to I3. So we write S3. I not on float. Float is a terminal. Float is a terminal. On terminal, it is going to I4 means S4, right? S3, S4, 1 comma 2. So we have written the shift operations and go to operations for the I naught. Now, what is I1? Here, I1 is dot end. For which production it is dot end? The dot end for the special production. Dot end for the special production. What is the special production? D dash gives D dot. Simply, we write in the ones low on follow of D dash. What is the follow of D dash? Dollar sign. Simply write accept. So, $1 is accept. $1 is simply accept. Is it clear? $1 is accept. Now, I2. I1 is over. I2. I2 has two go-to operations. What are the go-to operations? On terminal ID, on non-terminal till list. It is two go-to operations, ID and till list. Right? I2 on ID goes to I6, on till list is going to I5. So, here in the 2 row, right, state 2, we have written what we have to write in the T list. We write as 5. Then ID place we write as 6. So in the 2 we write as 6 and 5. Okay, the 2 is over. I3 dot end. What is the dot end? Type. What is the follow type? What is the follow type? ID. What is the production number? It is the production number is 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is the 5 productions. So in the third row for the third state, ID, right, reduce production number 4, right? Then I4. What is I4? Dot end. For which production it is dot end? Fifth production. What is the follow of type? Follow of type is ID. So, fourth state in ID we write reduce production number 5. Reduce the production number 5. For ID we are write then reduce production number 5. Then what is the next? State 5. State 5 having two go-to operations on comma and semicolon. On comma I7. So simply rewrite as 7. On semicolon it is going to I9. Right? On semicolon it is going to I9. So simply write as 9. State 5 is over. Right? State 5 is over. Then state 6. What is the state 6? Dot end. What is the production it is dot end? Third production. What is the follow of the T list? The follow of T list comma semicolon. In place of comma semicolon, we write reduce production number 3, reduce production number 3. For the state 6, for the state 6, we have written reduce the production number 3, reduce production number. Okay, is it clear? For 6, we written reduce the production number 3, reduce the production number 3. R6, the state 6, we have written R3 and R3. Then what is I7? The 7 as only go to operation on ID to I8. On ID it is going to I8. On ID it is S8. So 7 on ID is going to S8. Okay, is it clear? 7 on ID is going to S8. Shift to the state I8. Right? I7 on ID going to I8. So simply write S7. Then 8. What is 8 dot end? 8 is dot end. 8 is I8. Right? Dot and what is the production number? It is 2. What is the follow of the T list? Comma, semicolon. So in the comma and semicolon, we write reduce production number 2, reduce production number 2. In the comma and semicolon, we write in reduce the production number 2 and reduce production number 2. And finally, 9. What is the I9? Dot end. For which production it is dot end? For the first production. What is the follow of D? It is dollar sign. So 9th row in the dollar sign we write reduce production number 1. Right? So we have written reduce production number 1 for dollar sign. Right? I9 dollar sign we had written R1. So reduce production number 1. Okay, is it clear? I0, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, I8, I9. All the states we have written its respect to rows and columns. Now, for this input, we have to consider some input. For this SLR passing table, for this using this SLR passing table, by considering some input, we'll pass the input. Here, this is the input for the declaration of the variables for the integer type or float type. You can declare multiple variables, right? You can declare a multiple variables for this input, right? Now we'll take some example input string and we'll check the passing of the input string. Okay. Now I'm taking the input as float id comma id semicolon. It is the input. I want to check this input is successfully passed by our SLR passing method or not. So initially stack with 0 and input we have. What is the input we have? Float id comma id semicolon. And here the action part, what we will do, 0 and float, 0 and float, 0 and float, what we have, 0 and float, 0 and float we have S4. Shift action, so write float here, 4 here. We will write both of them, 0, float and 4. What is the input remaining? id comma id semicolon. Then now what we have, 4 and id. What is the 4 and id? R5. 4 and id is R5. Reduce the production number 5. How many symbols we have? 1 symbols. So pop 2 symbols. What we have pop? Float and 4. What the symbols we have? Go to 0 and what is id it is giving? T list. 0 and T list. 0 and T list, what we have? 0 and T list. Okay, here type, it is not T list, it is a type. Right? 0 and type. Right? 0 and type, it is 2. So we write 0, type and 2. Right? 0, type 2. Now the input is id comma id semicolon. id comma id semicolon. What we have? 2 and id. What is 2 and id? S6. So 0, type, 2, id and 6. What is the remaining input? Here dollar sign will be there. Semicolon. Right. Now 6 and comma. 6 and comma, what we have? 6 and comma we have, 6 and comma we have, R3 we have. Reduce the production number 3. What is the reduce the production number 3? T list gives id. How many symbols? 1. So pop 2 symbols. Pop 2 symbols. id and 6 are pop. Then go to what we have to consider? 2 and what is the T list? 2 and T list. 2 and T list is 5. So 0, type, 2. Here we write T list and we write 5. We write T list and we write 5. Now, what we have? Comma, id, semicolon, dollar sign. 5 and comma. What is a 5 and comma? 5 and comma we have S7. Right? 0, type, 2, T list, 5, comma, 7. What are the remaining symbols? id, semicolon, dollar sign. id, semicolon, dollar sign. 7 and id. What we have? 7 and id. 7 and id we have S8. 7 and id we have S8. So 0, type, 2, T list, 5, comma, 7, id 8. What is the remaining? Semicolon and dollar. We have considered 8 and semicolon. What we have? 8 and semicolon. 8 and semicolon is R2. Reduce the production number 2. How many symbols are there? 3 symbols. So pop 6 symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 symbols we have to delete or pop from the stack. So what we have next? Go to off. 2 and. What we have 2 and? Next. What is the production we have? T list. 2 and T list is 5. Right? 2 and T list is 5. So 0 type 2 T list and 5. Comma dollar sign. Comma semicolon dollar sign. Now 5 and semicolon. 5 and semicolon, what we have? 5 and semicolon S9. So 0 type 2 T list 5 semicolon $9. What is 9 and dollar? 9 and dollar is R1. 9 and dollar is R1. In R1, how many symbols are there? 3 symbols. So pop 6 symbols. What are the 6 symbols? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these 6 symbols should be popped. Then go to 0 and this is D. What is the 0 and D we have? 0 and D, it is 1. So 0 D 1 dollar sign. What is 1 and dollar? Simply accept. So 1 and dollar is simply accept. So by this checking by SLR passing method, the input string float id comma id semicolon is passed successful. It has correct syntax. Float means data type. 2 variables id and id separated by comma ending with semicolon. Right? So this is a grammar that is given for type declaration, and we added a new production D gives D, and we have constructed a closure groups, closure property with groups, and we have performed the goto operations, constructed DFA for the goto operations, and from using these closure groups and goto operations and follow of the variables, we have constructed the SLR passing table. From the SLR passing table, we have considered some input float id comma id semicolon. We have successfully verified the input string, is it correct syntax or not. Right? So by this, I am closing this SLR passing method examples. In the next class, we'll discuss next topics. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.